And another one bites the dust. We have one more military chief in Iran is dead. We are seeing something I think nice, sort of like a repeat or sort of a similar situation to Hezbollah when you had I don't know, I cannot remember what they call them. The general, no, not general secretaries. What was Nasrallah? What was his official position?
His position currently is dead.
Well,
No, I'm
what
just kidding.
was?
He was the leader of it's a like
Yeah, yeah.
it's like Stalin, I think, like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
lead
General secretary.
secretary.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, he was gone. Then there was a replacement. That replacement was killed. Another replacement was killed, and we are seeing a similar situation right now. So that's one of the first things that we'll discuss today, and of course, any updates we have since the last time we did this show. Joining me today is Reichel from Israel. Great of you to join us. And yeah, any comments you'd like to say before we go into the topic? And you also had some story you might wanted to share.
Oh yeah. So I wanted to share with you guys the experience uh of the sirens during the night. So I'll start with the routine. Uh, so in wars and any general life, you always want to have some sort of a routine that helps you get by in hard times. So we kind of learned the situations. Usually there are sirens at night. Home front command is doing a good job and giving us like a 30 minutes head start. And this is how we adjust alive. So previously, when it just started, we didn't know what to do. We went to all sort of places that has good shelter nearby. Uh, and like for the past past 2 days, we've been trying to stay at home and then go to a public shelter. So at first we tried in the subway, which was very good. We had there's air conditioning there, Wi-Fi. It's pretty much nuclear grade, so it's underground and safe. Yet it took us too long to get there. It's not close enough to our house, so we tried it in one alarm. It was nice. We went home. Then we found out that the kindergarten next door to us has a very good bomb shelter. And in Israel, it's no surprise. There are bomb shelters in Israeli kindergartens. So we went there, and it was pretty comfortable right across the house. You get the head start, you go there. The problem started, and we didn't know it. We only found out in retrospect that Iran changed its tactic, and instead of doing like large barrages of missiles, they're now working like mosquitoes and like sending here and there a single truck that has some launchers and do or like a few trucks and makes a small strike and go to sleep. And we didn't know that, so and that caused for a very short head start. We got the head start. I got up from bed, you know, took my stuff, about to head out. The alarm already started like within several minutes. So my wife and I were just running to the kindergarten and it was locked. So the sirens are waiting above our heads. We shouldn't be outside. Our shelter is locked. Turns out later that there is a guard there during the night, so it just, wouldn't just the kindergarten wouldn't just be open and anybody could just come in, but the guard fell asleep. So anyway, sirens are wailing above our head. We have to get to shelter. The place we thought we were going to is locked. There is no time to think. You gotta act fast. So I just took my wife and we went into the first building available. Unfortunately, this building has a ground floor shelter, and the door was a thin sheet of metal that couldn't be secured. And that means that like I know there is a possibility that if a missile lands nearby, I'm in deep trouble. Uh, because if the doors are not secure, when a ballistic missiles hits, it creates mixed reactions of pulling and pushing. There is a vacuum when the fire starts because fire needs air, and then there is a blast because the energy released pushes everything up. So basically, it was like being with a shelter with no door, like facing the street. So if an explosion as such would happen in our vicinity, it's very bad news for us. It could have been death, and and in Israel we used to uh, having to be in cover and trusting the cover. At most times, it really minimizes the chance for something bad to happen to you. So we have this routine, but when you're stuck in such unexpected and bad situations, when you can't find a good shelter and you have no time, and obviously we cannot go out and look for shelter because a missile can land anytime. The feeling is very I don't know how to call it, very eerie, very frightening. It feels much more like a game of roulette than other times where you do manage to get shelter, and then the worst case is like in your personal ways that like your house is gone, assuming all your loved ones are secured. So I just wanted to share it with you, like this. I think this small story uh, is good in conveying like the moon of the routine of being under barrages of ballistic missiles, because it shows like by showing what's going wrong, it also shows like the absurdity of such routine in general. Like this is unbelievable that we have to live in this routine. This is not acceptable. And having said that, this is very important that we keep with the war so such threat would not return themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember when I was in Israel for about a week or so, there was both a siren and a missile strike at the time. It was the Houthi that hit the close to the Ben Gurion airport. And yeah, it's sort of surprising how little time you have. And I had the app, so I knew there was a siren coming, and even then, all in all, I had about 5 minutes or so, like a little bit above 5 minutes before it struck. So yeah, and having to worry about that constantly, I mean, it will it will get to you, right? But yeah, Israeli people are strong, are going through this. And I mean, something I wanted to bring up later, but I might as well bring it up now. A new poll has been made, and it sounds like 80% of Israeli rate the prime minister's management of the conflict with Iran as excellent or good, with 61% of it being excellent. So there's a huge support for this. And I think Netanyahu and Israel should do whatever is necessary to basically do whatever is necessary. And even when asked about should Israel work to topple the Iranian regime beyond targeting the nuclear program and missile infrastructure, 75% of Israelis said yes. So this is much more than I think ever it was on Gaza. So Netanyahu absolutely has all the justification or all the sort of support from his people that he would ever need. Um, yeah, anything you'd like
I'd
to
like
say?
to say, yeah, although this decision came very late, and it should, as we said many times, this decision should have been made over decades ago. And by the way, there are cases in Israel. There's a famous case in Israel where, like I think in 2009, they started planning an attack on Iran's nuclear facilities, and some executive in Israel actually uh, did some dirty things to make sure it wouldn't happen, because they believed it's wrong for their reasons, which is for their ideologies and crazy agendas. And now we're paying obviously a much higher price. That's fair. Second, better late than never. And the decision to go for this uh, war is very brave, because yeah, we had a phenomenal uh, opening. We started this war great, and we succeeded beyond our expectations. But it could have been a disaster. And by making the decision of going to this war, it might fail. They might find out, go to shelter. We might be unlucky. There might be suddenly a bad weather during the attack, and not allowing our planes to see the ground or whatever. I don't know. Like many things can go wrong, and I'm not even talking about the human error. That yeah, now 80% are saying that's great, that's working, that's good decision. But if we would have failed and the opening attack would not have go so well, and Iran would have sent hundreds of missiles or thousands of missiles daily, and would have no water, no food, no electricity, and we'd be really stuck in shelter day in, day out, which is not the case. I'm not saying the case right now is good, but it could have been way worse. Having taken that to account, the decision is very brave and a very good decision, and a risk that even in this worst case, I'm it's still a risk worth taking, but then it would have been way more difficult to maintain this operation.
Yeah, I mean, later I want to bring up some people are already arguing against this war, of course, but I'll leave that for a bit later. So yeah, you mentioned Iran has sort of like changed its strategy. People might remember, the attack that was in April last year. I think it was about 200 missiles. Then I think the first one that happened sort of in this time, I think it was 100 missiles was the first attack, and then it was averaging around 30 to 40. And now this overnight, I think there's been about 3 to 4 different attacks, but each of them was about like 10 missiles or something like that. But it's still, even if there's one missile coming, it means, let's say it's coming to central Israel or to Tel Aviv, that means everybody is going into shelter, right? It can be one missile, but nobody is going to risk just staying out. So it looks like Iran is truly going, yeah, it realized they cannot get through with the numbers, so they are going with more for the psychological way of basically, yeah, forcing Israelis into shelters. But Israel is continuing, and apparently one of the reasons why there's so little missiles is Israel is really perfecting shutting down the missile launchers before they even try to attack. So Israel is handling this really well. And so yeah, I want to bring up, so the foreign minister Gideon Sar has said, I think today, about the assassinated Iranian military chief. Quote, this morning we were informed that our forces eliminated the Iranian military chief. We still don't know who will be the replacement of the replacement. I would recommend to whoever is offered the position to consider carefully. If they respond positively, extreme caution is advised. On the diplomatic front, the Iranian side has shown and continues to show activity. Yesterday, the IAEA Council was convened at Iran's request to discuss our attack on Iranian nuclear facilities. This discussion also ended without any outcome against Israel. So that was that was basically the nuclear commission. But yeah, I really like this statement. I really like this statement. It was, yeah, you can take the job, but be careful about it. Who knows what will happen? So Israel is truly striking the fear inside of Iranian, both military leaders as well as the sort of people like Khomeini. I'm still not sure exactly what is the situation with Khomeini. Many news sources reported that Trump has ordered for the assassination to not to happen. I think that was yesterday. But Netanyahu has been repeating that taking out Khomeini is on the table and is sort of a goal, or is a goal towards the regime change. So I'm hoping we'll see it in the upcoming days, and I'm hoping that if it truly is for some reason a stop from Trump, that it will be removed, because I don't really see any reason why Khomeini shouldn't be taken out. I think it's that would be. I think you might want to wait a bit to like truly hit the perfect timing, because the fact is, once Khomeini is gone, they have no real replacement. These dictatorships do not have like a structure to set up orders. So I think already most of Iran is in chaos. Most of the leadership in Iran is in chaos. Taking out Khomeini, I think, can be the final nail in the coffin when it comes to Iran completely falling apart. Yar, any comments on both taking out another military chief and possible assassination of Khomeini?
All right, two things. So first, I'd like to address what you said earlier, which I think is important. You were talking about like how Iran changes tactics and elaborated on that, and like the difference between obviously a barrage of like 5 missiles or 50 missiles is completely different regarding the risk. But as a citizen in the home front, you don't know whether it will be a barrage of 50 or 10 or 100 missiles. There's fog of war, and I'm like saying in general, and as an advice for Israelis, treat every alarm as if it's a barrage of 100 missiles. You never know, and your life is more important than your current convenience. If you might think it's just like one missile and go to bed or whatever, don't do it. Go to shelter. Now, regarding the situation in Iran, uh, I'll put it this way. I think we already won militarily. It's like I wouldn't say we already won, but it's already going to this direction. Like in World War II, in 1943, it was clear that Germany is losing, including in their own assessments. So obviously, militarily speaking, it's that the way is going towards weaker and weaker and weaker Iran and stronger Israel as time goes. The only way we can screw it up is by diplomacy. Once again, if we make a deal, if we make some sort of arrangement that allow this regime to survive, then it's over. So all of those achievements are great. We're killing another chief of staff. We're destroying their economy. We're destroying their policing. As I said in the previous show that I was on, I said the most important thing right now is also to destroy their way of maintaining civil order, which luckily, and I'm glad to say that shortly after the show was done, I was starting to see the news about how we destroyed the police stations and TV stations, etc., etc. So that's great news. In this regard, militarily speaking, we have completely the upper hand, and we are doing a good job. And the next steps are, I think it's we do our thing, and I think a major question right now is what Trump is going to do. And there is a question whether he's going for a deal or is he going for a complete destruction of the Ayatollah regime. And you can never know in this regard because there are mixed statements and there has been not yet to be actions besides the negotiation that ended. So if you look at the situation action-wise, so far the administration has been leading towards a deal. Now, of course, it could all have been a fraud, a deceit operation. So the initial Israeli attack would receive a sleepy Iranian regime and not ready to fight. We cannot know. We cannot make assumptions on this regard. We cannot know what is inside people's minds and hearts. And I'm talking about Trump in this scenario. I am seeing indications. The latest Trump statement are an indication that he might be willing to go all in and completely destroy the Ayatollah regime. But again, those statements could also be just like a negotiation tactic. Personally, I see two reasons why Trump would like to destroy this regime. One, that he sees that Israel is winning, and he has no reason not to join the winning side in this state. I think he understands there is no reason to just destroy all of those achievements, but to go all in, and the price would be quite low, and he will remove a threat. And the second reason is that Iran tried to kill him twice. So he personally understands they are a grave risk, and he does not buy their propaganda and lies and bullshit about how they're like people in the West see them as like a legitimate regime that has a right to exist and have like a civil nuclear program and all this nonsense. So this is good for us, yet I don't know. And let's see. I hope I hope those two reasons are not coming out of me just hoping for this to happen, but really are legitimate reasons, having looking at the whole picture.
Yeah, I mean, we can cover some of Trump's recent statement. Many people in the chat are, of course, saying it that he left there was a G7 summit, the summit of the G7 nations, and Trump pretty much left her in a hurry. I think he canceled one of his meetings. I'm not sure if it was with Macron or somebody else, but basically he was supposed to stay for a bit longer. And he left, and apparently a situation room in the White House is being set up. So we'll see where this is going. Now, as one of the scariest thing about sort of the current Trump administration is the fact that I think as much as I dislike Trump, I feel like Trump is like the best part of the Trump administration because when I look at all the people in his administration, it's truly bad. One of the recent things that were said is when Trump was leaving or either was leaving or onboarding Air Force One, he was asked by one of the journalists or one of the reporters if he believes that Iran is very close to a nuclear weapon, and he said he believes so. And somebody brought up that his director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, has recently, last month, but also I think recently, said that Iran is not working on nuclear weapons. And Trump responded to this. I don't care what she said. I think they were very close to having them. Now, this is a truly bizarre scenario. The fact that you have like the president and the director of national intelligence like contradicting themselves on something as important right now as of although I don't think it's that important if Iran is or is not close to developing nuclear weapons when it comes to actions against Iran should have been taken out before they even had the chance to think about developing nuclear weapons. Now them being close is I think sort of a like a wake up call, but this is something that should have been done a long time ago. Yeah, yeah. Any sort of comments on yeah, sort of
Yeah,
like
so
this? Yeah,
there is this weird directive in the West, and it also exists in Israel, which is in order to eliminate a threat, you need to see there is means, there is capabilities, and there is a tool. This is like the three conditions for you to attack adversary, enemy, or whatever. Like, let's say in the Israeli, what used to be the directive, if he only wishes to destroy you, but is not yet capable to destroy you, there is no reason to attack him because he's not capable. Now, this is complete and utter nonsense. The question of how capable is your enemy is irrelevant. Once the enemy stated that he wants to destroy you, and the Iranian did it decades ago, and they say in Israel is a cancer that it must be destroyed, and they're fantasizing about just shooting missile barrages, which by the way they're just like doing right now. Uh, this is enough of a reason to go on a strike to take down this regime. But the West has a phobia of fighting evil regime. The West has a phobia of defining evil and saying this is evil, this is illegitimate, this is a regime that is a tyranny, the citizen has no right, people are being tortured and murdered by the regime, women are being sold and used, and there is censorship, and the government can do whatever it wants with the people, and they've crossed all the red lines, and they should not exist, and they're a threat to us, so we're going to eliminate the threat. Nobody's saying that. If somebody says about, like, everybody has to use hints and play a game as if they not want to change the regime, so they wouldn't say this like taboo statement that a Western country that respects human rights has a moral right to destroy a tyranny that is risking her. Uh, so this is just annoys me. As soon as you see a tyranny is willing to destroy you and has this wish to destroy you, you need to go at it immediately. No waiting. You don't wait for them to create all of these proxy militaries near you and have all of these ballistic missiles and sponsor Hamas and do all of those things. This is complete nonsense, and it's time for us to make a change in the whole world. And hopefully the Israelis will understand this as well, because as of now we're just like, of course it's justified here. They want to destroy us. They're able to destroy us. They almost had a nuclear weapon, so we must act now. Like, why didn't we do it earlier, before it was so urgent and critical and difficult? So there is time for a change in the Western point of view. And I really hope it will happen. And also, I've seen some in the comments saying they're from Iran, and I have a message for the Iranian people watching us. If you support this regime, you are our enemies, and if you resist this regime and you wanna have a different regime that respects human rights and respects freedom and is an agent of its citizens to live free and flourish, you are our friends, and we have a common goal and objective, which is destroying this regime. Now you are in great risk and great danger because you're living under such regime. Anyway, you're in danger, whether Iran loses, whether this regime loses or wins, it's not going to be easy for you in the close time, but you have an opportunity to make an investment and help us take down this regime. So your future will be beautiful and safe and free. And it's now or never. So if you're watching us and you need some motivation to do whatever you can to take down this regime, I'm telling you, this is the best decision you can make if you want to live, if you truly want to live and flourish and have a good life and have a good future and have a good future for your children. This is now, it's the best chance for you to act. Now, when the regime is crippling, when their civil order mechanism is falling down, now it's the time to march to the palaces and to the police stations and fight the agents of this regime.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when your government starts acting in a way you do not want, when your government starts not only oppressing your rights but coming after citizens of other countries, you will suffer the consequences of those. And it's always, maybe, especially as somebody who's not right now in Israel, it might be sort of like easy to say, or is not in Iran, that Iranian people should stand up. But the fact is that you do not have any choice. You either will live under this dictatorship or you try to do something different. And as much as it's maybe easy for me to say, it truly, there is no choice. But people have to realize it themselves. Once Iranians realize that this current regime is nothing good and will only, your choice is pretty much risk freedom, risk, or not freedom, but sort of risk what you are living like right now for maybe some potential freedom in the future, or get wiped out because dictatorships fall. So either it will fall right now and you will help build something different, or it will fall in the future and you'll have no longer any option for something better. So now is the best time Iranians have, with Israeli support and hopefully American support. We have a super chat from Paul Zeus, thank you so much. And a super chat from Bonnie, thank you so much. She's been a member for 37 months, thank you. And she says, any truth to stories Iran wants to make a deal? Unthinkable, that's on the table. At this point, the regime must be destroyed or it's all for nothing. I think this started even like few days ago, where Iran was already like, oh, this is not going well in any way, and they have been sort of like trying to think of making some sort of a deal. Putin has been trying to come in and save Iran by being a mediator. Erdogan has been trying to come in and try to be some sort of a mediator, but it looks like as of right now, Netanyahu and Israel have no desire to deal with Iran in any way, and they should stay, they should continue, and it should absolutely continue. Bonnie says in the chat, why should he care about what any of his window dressing says? Well, the fact is, Tulsi Gabbard is the director of national intelligence. She is somebody who handles stuff. She is at the head of CIA, or she is sort of like overarching CIA. She is overarching all of America's intelligence. And, this is why you don't put almost the Russian puppet inside this kind of position. It's truly, Trump can fire her at any moment, and I think he absolutely should do so. Remember, she's a former Democrat. She has no reason to be. She basically justified Assad's regime. She has really no reason to be there. She's detriment to both American values right now and American future as well. She should absolutely be fired, and Trump Trump doesn't seem to be listening to her, but she shouldn't be in that position at all. Now, there is also, when talking about sort of like American involvement, it looks like Iran has been reposting, or at least one Iranian account on X has been reposting American congressmen, out of all people, who are spreading anti-Israel propaganda and anti-American propaganda. So it's truly disheartening that we have those kind of people in the legislatures right now. But basically, Iranian account has reposted Marjorie Taylor Greene, a U.S. congressman or congresswoman, who she posted like a list of American political statesmen saying Iran is close or a few years away from acquiring a nuclear weapon, and basically trying to argue that this is sort of like a manufactured thing. Again, from day one, Iranian regime declared war on America. You don't need to wait for them to actually get nuclear weapons or to be close to getting nuclear weapons to justify some sort of action against Iran. It should have been done on day one. It was failed, and continuous American administrations have failed to do something about Iran. If what you need, if what Trump needs is for them to actually be close, that's unfortunate, but I'll take it. There should absolutely be actions against Iran. Yeah.
This relates to the false premise that today in the West people are saying war is about symmetry and it's not about justice and it's not about judgment. So, like, as long as Iran doesn't have nuke, we have no reason to attack Iran. Like, this is, again, this is nonsense. You should not have been waiting for Iran to be close to acquiring nukes to take it down. As soon as you see a tyrannical regime cross the line and is completely oppressing its own citizens, it's not yet about them being, trying to kill you. Once a regime completely annihilates his own people and puts them in these metaphorical cages of complete obedience to a crazy, irrational regime that tortures its own people, you have a moral right to destroy the regime for this, and this is for the sake of humanity, and yeah, a country has an interest to do as such. Once the regime has a declared will to attack you. So there is the whole discussion of whether they're getting nukes or not is like the people saying, oh, they're not really getting nukes, so there's no reason to attack Iran. It's complete and utter nonsense. We don't need to wait for this point. We don't need to wait for the future for this point to actually be true. We need to stop them yesterday. So it's bizarre. And people are giving moral legitimacy to Iran, to a regime that is completely insane, evil, has acted against the West in many opportunities. And also, like the thing Hezbollah did to France and to the United States, the amount of people died because of Hezbollah. The links Iran has to 9/11, both within the ideas they're spreading and direct support to this hideous terror attack. Like it's everybody who looks at reality understands that Iran is behind all of this evil and death and horrible things happening to the West and all of this death and destruction, and not only in Israel but in Europe and in the United States and other places. So it's completely bizarre, the discussion about whether they're ready to become nuclear or not. It's yeah, of course, if there be nuclear, it will be way worse. But you do not need to get to this way worse point to start destroying this regime.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's the same kind of appeasement, right? It's why we didn't do anything about Russia after them invading Ukraine in 2014, because, well, they only did this, or invading Georgia a few years prior. We didn't do anything about North Korea developing nuclear weapons when we knew they will try to, and now they are in a position where we cannot do anything about them. China is planning to invade Taiwan, yet we are sort of refusing to recognize that. Somebody in the chat is asking, where did Iran declare war on US? Iran, when it came to existence, invaded US foreign soil and took American
Ayatollah's
hostages. Ayatollah's Iran, yeah. After the Islamic Revolution. Just recently, in the past year, they funded the Houthis who are attacking international shipping, including American ships, destroying property. They are funding Hamas, who has taken American hostages, as well as Israeli hostages, and many other foreign nationals, as well as killed many of them. They funded Hezbollah, who, again, killed American soldiers, or sort of the precursor to Hezbollah, killed American soldiers that were stationed in Lebanon. And all of these paramilitary groups, the whole purpose of them being set up is to attack, first and foremost, Israel, and second, American influence in the region. Iran is declaring openly that they want to kill Israelis, Americans, that they want to destroy both of those regimes. If you do not see that, you're evading or you're propagandist. There is absolutely no way of going around that. This is absolutely what is happening. Um,
I, I'm urging the viewers who wants to uh, be more educated in this regard, just Google Iran hostage crisis 1979 and read the Wikipedia article and see how it rolled and what happened and what afterwards. And just Google for Hezbollah terror attack, and there is a whole category in Wikipedia regarding those terror attacks, and they killed hundreds of Americans and French people, and the list goes on. And it's not only that, like since 79, since the Ayatollah took over Iran, but basically they first of all they started purging Iranians. Like they killed a very big amount of Iranians, complete purging within the state, and starting a tyrannical regime. And this is often when people in the West talk about like evil regimes, this is often brushed off. Like a regime supposedly has a right to how do you say it, to be tyrannical against his own people. No, he doesn't. A thief can, like metaphysically, a thief can steal somebody else's property. He can do that. He's able to, but he has no right to do as such. A regime can metaphysically oppress his own people, but he has no moral right to do as such. And when a regime does that, it is an indication that he is rotten to the core and will sooner or later go against the Western world, because the biggest enemy ideologically of a regime that is oppressive is the free world, because people see you cannot hide from people. There is a freer countries somewhere that you can run off to or learn from them, that people have rights. And this is every dictator's worst nightmare, that his people will understand. So he has to say, like the Iranians say, the Israelis are demons and they do witchcraft and send awful things to Iran with their witchcraft, so we must destroy them. That's what they're saying. And of course, like Bin Laden and what he said about the West and all of it's not a coincidence. So a tyrannical regime that oppresses his own people has no right to exist, and most likely will eventually turn against the West. So just read about Iran, read about Hezbollah, read about the Houthis, read about Assad regime. All of those were backed by Iran. And think about like the rise of terror in the West since the 80s. It's not a coincidence. The backbone of terror is the idea that an Islamic revolution is possible. So all of those theories is Muslim people who think, wait, if we kill enough Western people, they'll panic and we'll be able to take over the West and start a huge caliphate over the West. And the reason they have this motivation and ideas is Iran. It's not only money. It's not only support and organizing them and weaponizing them. It's also giving them the idea that jihad pays off. And this is another reason why the West must take down Iran, to show the Muslim world that doing jihad will bring them nothing besides death. And 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 the West is stronger, and living a free life is better. And they should know that every time they'll go against the West will destroy them and do an even worse thing than killing them. Those terrorists is showing their people that being free is better. That when you're free, you're stronger, you're happier, you have a better life. You have you can you can be yourself, you can build yourself, you can make your own life better, and you're not limited by your government or by your tribe or by your tyrannical regime or a Soviet or whatever. And this is very important. Go learn history, look at the events, and see the core, basic, fundamental reason, which is an evil ideology of death, of destruction, of tyranny.
yeah, I mean, one of my favorite quotes, although I'm not the biggest fan of the politician, JFK is, people might know it, freedom has many difficulties and democracy is not perfect, but we have never had to put up a wall to keep our people in. And this is exactly what Iran is. I know a few people from Iran who have like Iranian passports. It's impossible, almost impossible to leave that country. And when you leave, to actually try to go somewhere else, just by being born in Iran, you already have this in tremendous difficulty for the rest of your life because you are associated with the regime. These dictatorships, these totalitarian states are not a positive for the world, are not good. And when people, people are already doing the Iran has a right to defend itself. The reason why I do not like saying countries have a right to defend themselves, but the reason why countries have ability to act externally, meaning sort of apply force outside, is or comes from the fact that for a society to function, for a government to be fought, for a government to be legitimate, they need to protect the rights of their own citizens first and foremost. That's before you even start talking about other countries, that's what you need to do first, because people cannot deal with each other by force. They need to deal with each other by consent. So you need to set up a government first to do that. And then when there is another country trying to kill your own citizens, you need to protect them. Iran has no desire to recognize or protect the rights of their own citizens. They are oppressing them. That is their goal. And that's why they go outside and try to take out other, because dictatorships also are not functional. They do not produce. The only way they can exist is by taking from others, either taking from the productive parts of their own society, basically uh, parasitizing on any good people, on any productive people within their own society, or relying on the other nations. That's why Russia needs North Korean troops to actually fight for them. That's why Russia needs Iranian drones to actually fight for them. Those societies are not good. It's why Iran relies on Chinese and Russian support when it comes to their existence. That's why Khomeini cannot wait to actually flee to Russia as soon as he sees the writing on the wall. These dictatorships are bad, but we still need to take them out. They are not good, and they are not even they don't even have really the efficacy. And we are seeing that now, how Israel, a country of 9 to 10 million people, has been able to completely wipe out any sort of military capabilities of a country of about 80 million. 1 to 10 ratio, and it's still nothing, because small free countries are able to defend themselves against big uh, and on paper strong countries. That's why Ukraine is crushing down Russia. That's why Israel can crush not only Iran. Israel is not only fighting Iran right now. Israel has been for more than 600 days in a seven-way war, or how many sort of different organizations and countries it has been fighting. Yet it has been handling all of that well. Yeah, any comments on that?
Hey, I have a little update. Uh, Charlie Kirk on Fox News has been interviewed, and he's now saying he's in favor of the United States to have a swift and focused attack against Iran. I'm quite paraphrasing because this is what I got in Hebrew, so it might sound a little different in English. Yet this is a very positive indication that the U.S. regime, the government is going towards the administration is going towards a leaning towards joining the operation in Iran and attacking Iran, because Charlie Kirk usually just is like a spokesperson for Trump in a way, like. So this is another good positive indication for the US to join this operation, which is great for Israel and great for the Western world. The sooner this regime is destroyed, the better for the free world.
Yeah, and I think Trump has also been recently asked about sort of negotiations with Iran, and he said he's not in the mood to negotiate with Iran. So, like that. Then continuing, I'm looking for complete surrender on their part. He also noted that he has not approached Iran for peace talks in any shape or form, which I'm not sure about because he kind of was hinting at that, but maybe he hasn't reached out directly, so maybe that's what he's referring to. He's also said Iran should have accepted the deal that was on the table. If they want to talk, they know how to reach me. So he's kind of pushing back, but he also said he's not seeking ceasefire with Iran, but a real end to the Iranian nuclear issue. I think a real end can come in from the end of the regime. So still sort of flip-flopping. But something I wanted to bring up also is sort of the work of U.S. congressman. So somebody I kind of a little bit liked for a little bit because he pushed against some of Trump's agenda, especially the big beautiful bill, has been Thomas Massie. But he's sort of like libertarian-ish. But very much sort of like non-interventionist, and I think in the recent days he is not really showing his true colors, but his true colors are being more shown than usual. He basically has recently stated on X that this is not our war, but if it were, Congress must decide such matters according to our constitution. I'm introducing a bipartisan war powers resolution tomorrow to prohibit our involvement. I invite all members of Congress to co-sponsor this resolution. Now, this was already retweeted by Rashida Tlaib and AOC, and then Thomas Massie has retweeted Rashida Tlaib as well. Now, when it comes to sort of U.S. involvement, he is sort of right on this, which I'm wondering if this is why Trump is technically not coming in. He needs approval from Congress for action to start. Now, if American base or American soldier gets hit, he has a right to basically, or even under Constitution as a commander in chief, he pretty much can't go in. He needs to inform Congress about what he's doing, and then Congress needs to approve in 60 days. He basically can go in for 60 days to remove the threat, and then Congress has to sort of approve more action. But yeah, I mean, trying to actively prohibit any action against Iran is ridiculous. Saying this is not our war is ridiculous. Now, I understand that obviously Trump should do through the mechanisms that are in accordance to constitution as well as the established law. But absolutely there needs to be action. And when you start getting retweeted by Rashida Tlaib, you should maybe look at what you're actually doing. This alliance between so-called libertarians and Islamists is becoming a bit annoying. And people like Dave Smith, people now like Thomas Massie, who somehow always find themselves justifying Russian aggression, justifying Iranian aggression, justifying Hamas aggression to the point that I don't think they actually care for any Western values. I don't think they actually care for any sort of view of individual rights or even, as they try to claim, natural rights. ER, any comments from on Thomas Massie?
Well, I recognize two notions here. The first one is pacifism, and the second one is a mentality of duty. And they both relate to each other. So pacifism is basically the notion that you should never use power, never go to war, be peaceful, and everything will get along somehow. And of course, this is a completely ridiculous view because it evades or ignores human nature. And human nature is as such. People has a choice. They have free will. They can choose between alternatives. And people metaphysically, it's in their nature. People can choose violence. And then you have to do justice with those people. And the only way to do justice with such people is by using power against those who initiated power. The only way to do justice and to defend yourself is by sometimes it could go to war. And pacifism says, no, you never do that. And pacifism ignores the fact that other people can attack you and that you should be able to protect yourself and do something about it and even prevent them from doing so if you see enough indications that they are willing to do so. And this is very important. And we can objectively identify and see who is the tyranny, who is planning to destroy you, and countries that protect human rights has a moral right to go against them. Now, the second part of it is a mentality of duty. And the mentality of duty says if you accept those pacifist premises, you basically say the United States has a duty uh, not to initiate war, and it completely ignores justice. It completely ignores interest. It completely ignores the fact that those other regimes, the tyrannical regimes, are are going to war against peaceful countries over and over again and killing their people, and those pacifist and duty mentality people just basically tell the United States, oh, you have a duty to be peaceful and maintain peace and not do anything against this threat. And both of these views, pacifism and duty mentality, is basically, I call it self-destruction by agent, or even like suicide by proxy. It's basically it's basically saying, in effect, in practice, you're saying, okay, I'm in favor of you not defending yourself and basically letting others destroy you, just for me to go and virtue signaling my irrational point of view. And in essence, when you look at those tweets and those whatever they're saying, they're focusing on the nuclear issue or whatever. It doesn't even matter. They're basically saying you cannot do anything. You should be pacifist and let the other destroy you. And this, for them, this is justice. And this view has nothing to do with justice. It's never just to completely surrender your means of living and give them away to tyrannies and dictatorships and evil who wants to murder you. And you can use a lot of pretty words like humanity and de-escalation and world peace or whatever. It's all excuses for this deep and evil point of view of pacifism and duty. Both are evil.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a super chat from Faye. Thank you so much. And yeah, again, I think somebody in the chat said that what was it? The U.S. forces can be sent into combat limited to 90 days without a congressional resolution. I think you still need a justification. Now, I think America had justification since the Islamic Revolution to do something about Iran. Iran has openly stated their goal to kill Americans, to destroy America. Now, if that is enough, that's for constitutional lawyers to decide. But morally,
Technically,
yeah.
technically, the president of the United States can initiate war against uh, any country he likes, and it goes this way. The president of the United States is the commander of the military, of the army, of the navy, of all of the forces, and he is allowed by the Constitution, if I'm not mistaken, to initiate operations. Now, once you initiate an operation, two things can happen. Okay, three. So you can start the operation and then uh, your enemy ignores it, and which is not likely. But if he ignores it, you can just like demand him to surrender or whatever, do another operation, or this is a very unlikely situation anyway. Or the enemy could attack and declare war at you. And once the enemy does that, like you don't need a congressional approval for anything. Or the third thing that the enemy can do, which is the best, is just to surrender. And once the enemy surrender, you don't need to do anything further. So technically, the president can de facto initiate war against other country without congressional approval in practice, or do things that would lead to this congressional approval, because I don't think a U.S. Congress would not allow the United States to initiate a war against a country that is currently attacking her and posing a threat to her, regardless of what led to it. But I think this whole technical conversation is not really relevant. Yeah, it's a little relevant for the technicalities, but on the deeper level, the United States of America has any right uh, and interest to take down the Iranian regime as soon as possible, and to have this regime over with, because every moment this regime exists, it is inflicting damage on the United States, and the more this regime exists, the more death and destruction will be around the world by this regime or its proxies. And this includes also damage within the United States and Britain and the West, and of course Israel.
Yeah, I think we still care a little bit about the way it's being done, I think Trump is absolutely justified to do it right now. I think under the sort of the newest legislation, he needs to inform Congress about what exactly he's doing and what his goals are, and then he has 60 days to basically sort of do, which I think are more than enough. I think, especially if America gets involved, we are done in days, maybe weeks, with this whole operation. So yeah, absolutely, whatever needs to happen.
Daniel, did you broadcast in your shows the attack on the Iranian broadcasting
Yeah.
agency? All right, because people are
I
writing
mean,
about it in the chat. We can show it again.
yeah.
I'd like that. So to help people catch up with the latest events, of course.
Yeah, let's see if I can quickly bring it up. There we go. So yeah, we played this yesterday, but let's see again.
صدایی که شنیدی فضای غبارآلوده استودیو
در نمیرفت خالی بود در نمیرفت خالی بود
So yeah, this was the Iranian state media hit live on television, which I was really surprised to see. It is actually true. Apparently, the woman is now like a national hero because she escaped from that. But apparently, they were told by the IDF to actually leave that building. They didn't, and they were hit during their broadcasting. Which another surprise to me was the fact that they do not delay their broadcasting. The fact that this went out live, that during a war, when there is a strike coming, they actually broadcast this live, was like really surprising to me.
By the way, they might have a delay, but the people just ran out of the the control and kept airing. Also, it seems to me like a roof knocking. It could have been a roof knocking before destroying the whole place. I don't know. Hopefully, it's not a roof knocking. I think this is a horrible tactic of trying to appease the war. And yeah, and I think in this video, I'm not sure was it like the people watching the TV, are they like in Iran?
I would assume so. I'm not sure if
If
Iranian
it is,
state media
it's a
is
wonderful
like,
video
yeah.
because like seeing the reactions of people watching it live is a great thing, hopefully. Yeah, I think we're moving step by step towards destroying this regime, and the near future, this week, is critical, and we still every moment we need to do it right, to not make wrong decisions, so we can finish this regime.
Bonnie is asking, what is roof knocking? Do you want to explain? Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, Israel has a tactic. It's mostly implemented currently in Gaza, which is in order to minimize, how do you call it in English?
Casualties or
No, not like it has a term for uninvolved casualties.
yes, I know,
Collateral
like
damage.
collateral.
To reduce collateral damage. So we basically start with a bomb on the roof that doesn't do any damage, but it shakes the whole building and make a huge blast. So the people within the building will escape it. We also like send flyers. We call them. We do many things before we attack a building that might lead to a lot of casualties, collateral damage. And I think this is wrong because we shouldn't be making a war as if it's a tailor-made taking out of certain leaders and certain militants. War is about the right side doing whatever it can in order to make the evil side surrender as soon as possible, and that also means not uh, wasting your ammo and your resources and risking your soldiers to prevent collateral damage. And roof knocking is one of those methods to prevent collateral damage, and it's morally evil to prevent your enemy from collateral damage. And this is, by the way, one of the reasons I don't think it's like the Hasbara in Israel is like, oh, but they target our civilians and we only target their military. I think it doesn't matter. The Iranian regime is evil not because of the way it conducts war, but the way it is, acting during peacetime, peace, quote unquote. Like this military just seeks death and destruction, including its own people. and it has no right to exist, and a total war against him is totally justified. And that's it. We don't need to compare how each side conducts war and what's their methods and the tactics. We of course it's good to talk about it, like in a sense to demonstrate, but the principle is about the essence of the regime and what the regime wants and how it acts, and this what justifies whether you should trade with this regime and have peace with this regime and have friendship with this regime, or you should uh, condemn it and boycott it. And if this regime threats you or you have an interest as such, total war against this regime, no, without any consideration for collateral damage until this regime is done. And regarding its people, regarding the uninvolved and the good people, if they're good, and if they're truly uninvolved, they have an interest for this regime to go down and they would help us. And actually, it's happening in Iran more than it's happening in Gaza. We have a lot of agents in Iran, Iranian people who help us, who cooperate with us. They know there will be collateral damage. They still help us because they understand they should take down this regime as soon as possible.
Yeah, and something I haven't mentioned, there was done recently. There was also a major cyber attack by IDF, where a pro-Israel hacker group launched cyber attack. Well, okay, this might not have been actually done by Israel, but by pro-Israeli hacker group. So they crippled Iran's SEPA bank, which is used to fund IRGC missile and nuclear programs. They disrupted ATMs, gas stations, and financial services. So this is also great to see, which I think somebody earlier mentioned. If Iran shut down their internet, I believe it prohibited their military or sort of their leadership from talking to each other through Wi-Fi, through internet. So hopefully they'll go to pagers now, and we'll see what happens next. With that, Yar, any last thoughts from you?
Thank you for having this show. And if you like what I have to say and want to hear more, please go to www.victory.now, where you can sign up as a Patreon, sign up for a waiting list for our book, and see our articles and donate.
And somebody is asking when is the next stream. So we have 2 shows every day. The first one is at this time, which is noon UK time. That's 2 p.m. Israeli and 7 a.m. Eastern. And we have the later show at 5:30 p.m. UK time, which is about in 4.5 hours. That's 7:30 Israeli and 12:30 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, make sure to join us in 4.5 hours where we'll go live again. Thank you, ER, for joining me. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and bye-bye.